Hey bro, I wanna ask you a question. How much of your time outside of school do you spend on your academics? Maybe I should rephrase the question. How much time are you working on something productive that is not your academics? Probably almost close to zero, right? Maybe like less than 5 hours a week. And let's be real, extracurricular activities like CCAs, they don't count because let's be honest, you're not doing them out of genuine passion. You're doing them because it's like good for your portfolio or this certain CCA can get you bonus marks or something. So you're still doing them for academics basically. In our modern day, for many students, all of their focus or most of their focus is on their academics. Very few students are actually working on something that they genuinely enjoy, like a passion. They spend stupidly long hours on their homework, their studying, etc. etc. It's like their full-time job, bruh. They even sacrifice their sleep, their health, their diet. It's like they're in this jail cell. This is prison of academics where they don't have the freedom to pursue anything else to a meaningful extent. I remember my time in secondary school where my life revolved around academics. I sacrificed my social life. I basically never went out with friends. I didn't even have any real friends. I sacrificed my sleep and I felt like shit every day. I was very inconsistent in exercising and going to the gym because I prioritized my academics over my health. So like I went entire months without exercising at all. So obviously I was unfit and unhealthy and constantly getting sick. I didn't celebrate my birthday even. And I also barely talked to my parents. All of this just to work on my academics. And the worst part is, even after sacrificing all these things, I was still a fucking slacker. I still spent a lot of my time on video games, social media, etc. etc. And you have also sacrificed some of the same things I did to do your homework, right? Or to study, right? When I got into self-improvement and started getting straight A's, that became like my only achievement in life basically. Of course, I started rapidly improving other areas in my life later, but there was this period in school where academics was the only thing I had going for me. And I don't even like studying. I remember this one time, I was sat in this holding room. I was waiting to take a oral exam when the teacher in the holding room started a conversation with me and she asked me, what school do you want to go to in the future? And I was like, I don't know. And she's like, okay, well, what university course are you interested in taking? I was like, I don't know either. And she asked, okay, then what are you interested in doing in the future? And I was like, I don't know. I'm just working on my academics right now. I haven't really thought about that. And then I just realized like shit, I basically threw all of my teenage life, my fucking time away for academics. I didn't even live life enough to know what I was interested in. How freaking sad is that? And I mean, yeah, the education system is to blame for putting a bunch of work on students, but it's really a paradigm shift that's needed, a mindset shift. Cause students like you keep thinking, oh, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time to do this, I don't have time to sleep, I don't have time to work on what I'm interested in, I don't have time to exercise, blah 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 blah. Because it does indeed seem like you don't have time with the massive amounts of bullshit work that you have to do because of school. You have this test the next day, you have this essay that you need to do by next week, you have this lectures to watch, tutorials to do. If you're going through the same shit that I went through before, if you're in this like prison cell of academics, I want to give you hope. I want to save your life right now with this video because I got out of it. I escaped the prison of academics and I've achieved freedom as a student. Don't get me wrong, I'm still in school, but school and homework and studying has no longer become this all-consuming thing in my life. It's become more of like just something I do in my life alongside exercising or training martial arts. It's just become something that's in my life, in my daily routine. It's no longer my top priority. I would say it's even quite low on my priority list. And I'm still getting okay grades. Don't worry, I'll start getting straight A's soon. Trust me. Every single day, I never work on anything academic after 3:30 p.m. while my classmates are spending their entire afternoon and evening doing their homework and studying, and literally continuing to do homework after dinner, which, by the way, is absolutely ridiculous. While they're doing that, I'm like reading books on philosophy and psychology, which I'm quite interested in. I'm like hitting the gym, I'm going online, looking for ways to improve my videos on this YouTube channel, and I'm just chilling, you know. Then I eat dinner and I take a hot shower, then I go to sleep immediately after that. And you know the most funny part? I end up finishing my homework several times faster than my classmates. They're always behind on their tutorials and their lectures and whatever, while I'm actually quite ahead of them. And also in exams, well, so far we've only had mini tests that don't really count, but I'm still getting around the same scores, if not better scores, than the scores that they are getting. And all of this while still being able to sleep 8 hours a day and basically upload 6 days a week on this YouTube channel. It's possible. Let me show you how to achieve freedom as a student. Step 1. You need to sleep 8 to 9 hours a day. People tell me they don't have time to sleep that much, but what they don't know is that you need to sleep that much to have time in the first place. If you sleep like shit, you don't actually even have 24 hours in a day. You have more like 14 hours, if I'm gonna be honest. Why? Think about it like this. When you don't sleep well, you can't even listen in class for half the time. That's like several hours wasted because you're basically doing nothing productive for those several hours. You're not even doing anything unproductive. You're just doing nothing. You try to do your homework, you try to study, but you can't focus because you feel like shit and you have brain fog that you don't even know is there in the first place. So a task that should have taken you like 2 hours, you end up barely finishing it in 6 hours. Even more hours wasted. And when you don't sleep well, your brain doesn't function well and you don't feel happy. And what happens when your brain doesn't function well and you don't feel happy? You spend hours on social media, short form content, video games, Netflix, porn, etc, etc. So basically, you sleep 4 hours less one day and then you lose like 10 hours the next day. That's the reason you don't have time. Okay, so I really want to force like the importance of sleep into your brain. So let's talk about evolution. You know what natural selection is, right? So basically, when an animal develops a certain trait that is not good for their survival, for example, having brown fur in a snowy environment, then all the animals with this certain trait will die off, and then there will no longer be animals with this trait, or like less animals with this trait. Likewise, if an animal develops something that is good for their survival, then they will keep surviving and reproducing and having children and passing on the same trait to their children, and the amount of animals with this good trait for survival will multiply and multiply, and that's basically the gist of it. You know what the interesting thing is? After 800 million years of the existence of animals, most animals still sleep. Several 100,000 years ago, cavemen, basically primal humans, were sleeping as well, which is very odd from a survival perspective, cause sleeping is like anti-survival. You basically become vulnerable to an attack for several hours. You're not hunting for food or looking for resources for several hours. This trait of sleeping should have been removed by natural selection, right? By this logic. But it wasn't. These cavemen who were basically fighting for their lives every single day, who were 10 times more busy than you, they had no time to spare. They had to hunt and gather for food and water and run away from predators or else they'll die. And somehow, they were able to survive better when they spent several hours of their day sleeping. These several hours that they could have spent hunting and reproducing or gathering resources or whatever, nature decided, the universe decided that it was better to sleep. Sleep increased their chances of survival as compared to hunting and gathering for food or reproducing. Okay, to drive this point even further, I got an L1R5 of raw 7 for the GC O-levels exam, which basically means I got straight A's and I can just choose to study at the top elite institutions in Singapore. How did I do this? What's my secret? Is it self-improvement? Is it this one study hack nobody told you? No, it was sleep. More specifically, I slept 9 full hours a day, all the way from July to the end of my O-level exams, which means that I set aside 10 hours a day for sleep. That's my secret. Honestly, if I was put on like international television or radio or whatever broadcasting system, and I was allowed to say one sentence to millions of students worldwide, I would say sleep 8 to 9 hours a day. And then that single sentence would single-handedly increase the global average GPA. Definitely. So your actionable step is to just start sleeping 8 to 9 hours a day, meaning you set aside 9 to 10 hours a day for sleep, meaning you sleep at around 8 to 9 p.m. each day if you wake up at 6 a.m. Also, keep your sleep-wake times the same every single day, even on weekends. Wake up at 6 a.m. and sleep at 8 to 9 p.m. Also, set a cut-off point for work, a time after which you are not allowed to do any work at all. My cut-off point for work is 6:30 p.m., which means that even if I have homework that's due tomorrow, even if I have a graded exam tomorrow that I didn't study for, no, don't care. I'm going to eat dinner, take a shower, go to sleep. Because health is a long-term investment. I would much rather get scolded by my teacher tomorrow or fail an exam than feel like shit, and also running the risk of entering this vicious cycle where I need to sacrifice sleep to do my homework, so the next day I'm unproductive, so I need to sacrifice even more sleep to do my homework. And it repeats and repeats until my health is fucked and I feel horrible every day. It doesn't matter if my grades are still good, my future self is gonna be depressed and probably end up with several chronic illnesses. You need to prioritize your health over your academics. Step 2. Quit your bullshit commitments. Look at all the commitments you have in life right now. Maybe you have this CCA and then you're also in this student group. Maybe you also have a leadership position and you're doing this sport. Or maybe you're not that overachiever kind of student, but you still have 1 to 2 CCs and also a bunch of private tuition. So let's address the extracurriculars first. I want you to ask yourself, really ask yourself, are you actually passionate about them? About these commitments? Don't get me wrong. It's good to try new things, but is that the actual reason you joined these commitments? You want to try new things? Or is it because you wanted to look good on your portfolio? Or your parents wanted you to join? Or a teacher wanted you to join? Or because this certain CCA will get you bonus points in your O-levels or something? Do you join this extracurricular out of your own genuine desire? Do you commit to these things for the sake of committing because you genuinely enjoy it and you're passionate about it and you think that maybe it has some benefit to society? Or for something else? There's a very simple question you can ask yourself to determine this. If you were told at the start of your school life that you were guaranteed admission into Harvard or NUS or whatever your dream university or college is, with whatever courses you want to take, would the commitments you take up be the exact same as the ones you're doing now? If no, your actionable step is to make them the same. Go do that one CCA that you actually kind of have interest in. Or you could be like me, don't take up any extracurriculars at all and just go do your own thing, which is what I'm doing. This YouTube channel, I spend like 3 to 4 hours on it daily, and I fucking love it, honestly. Quit all of those bullshit commitments that you don't actually enjoy and you don't actually think is purposeful and meaningful. But if you answered yes to the above question, I want you to think about another question. Do you want to be doing similar things in 10 years outside of school? If you're in a sports CCA, do you want to become a professional athlete in that certain sport in 10 years? If you're in student council, do you want to have a role in your country's government in 10 years? By the way, I'm not asking if it is realistic. I'm asking if you want to do it. And I'm not going to ask you to do anything based on your response to this question. I just want you to think about it. Now, On to private tuition. God damn it. Quit your private tuitions, bruh. Some countries call them like cram schools or learning centers or whatever. Quit them. Your teachers in school are more than enough to help you get straight A's. As long as you sleep well and as long as you're not afraid to ask for consultations from your teachers. And the funny thing is, the time that tuition takes up and the homework they give ensures that you can't sleep well. So just quit them. I made a video stating my entire argument against tuition and also an action plan to quit tuition. Because you probably can't quit them now because your parents are forcing you to take them or whatever. And I'll link that video in the description below. Quitting your bullshit commitments and your tuition will give you a whole bunch of free time. Which brings me to my next point. Step 3. Find your authentic passion and prioritize it over academics. If you don't have something to prioritize over your academics, then no matter how much free time you have from sleeping well and quitting your tuitions and commitments, academics is still gonna consume your life because you have nothing else to work on. You're still gonna be spending most of your day on academics. So you need to find your authentic passion, something you genuinely love doing. And there's this really good question to find out what this is. If you had to spend most of your time working on something that's going to fail, what would it be? Like if I told you it's 100% guarantee whatever you work on, doesn't matter what it is, it's going to fail, what would you work on? So basically this question is asking, what would you work on simply because you enjoy working on it? What is the area where you don't really care about the material success or the rewards or the achievement you get from working in that area, but the work itself is the reward? If you have an answer, good. If you don't, start trying out new things. If you know what you want to do, in your head you're constantly visualizing yourself doing this, doing that, going to the gym, training a martial art, becoming a YouTuber, or I don't know, becoming a digital artist. There are 1,000 different things to try. Just try out some of these things that you keep visualizing yourself doing in your mind, and at least one of them will stick with you. You will absolutely enjoy doing it. Even if you don't make that much progress at first, but you love just doing it, that is the one. So actionable step. If you don't already have a genuine passion, find it by trying out new things. If you do already have a genuine passion or you've managed to find one, start prioritizing it over your academics. Start spending a significant portion of your day on this one genuine passion and less on academics. Start making decisions that prioritize this passion over your academics. For example, if you find yourself thinking, oh, should I study 1 extra hour or should I work on this thing I'm interested in? Choose the second option. This is exactly how I achieve freedom, psychological and temporal freedom from the prison of academics. And I feel so much happier this way, and I'm not even sacrificing my grades. And also, that passion you work on, if you do it, if you prioritize it enough, it could very well end up becoming your future career, the thing that makes you money, instead of a dead-end 9-to-5 job. Because you know it's a social media generation where you can basically do whatever the fuck you want and still find a way to make money from it. So you're basically set for life. I hope you found this video helpful. Please give me any criticism and feedback in the comments below. Criticize me as much as you can so that I can improve, and I wish you a good day.